So my name is Abigail, and I'm presenting on behalf of Team Fearless. My colleague is David Coleman.
David Coleman. Yeah.
So our project is on building a framework that will support innovative leadership in building ambidextrous organization. So in a way of outline of our presentation, we'll be looking at the introduction, the framework, organizational structure, developing leadership competencies, resource allocation, measuring the performance of the organization, integration, and then conclusion. So when we talk about having an innovative organization, we know that the world, the landscape is changing fast, and organizations have to be competitive in whatever they do if they want to exist in operations. And stay innovative, and then doing what you are already doing, it's very challenging. So you need to have both aspects, being innovative and then continuing the process that you have to obtain efficiency. So we talk about exploitation and then exploration. Exploitation talks about optimizing existing products, services, and processes for efficiency, profit, and profitability. And then exploration is creating new products and services for future growth and competitive advantage. In doing so, organizations find it difficult to balance these two dynamics when it comes to having the right organizational structure to support the efficiency and then innovation. And then we also lack leadership skills in managing both exploitation and exploration. When it comes to resource allocation, deciding how to allocate resources sometimes becomes difficult. And then measuring the performance also is a challenge. As a group, we came up with this framework. We called it the guiding principles for dual excellence. So when we have ambidexterity, strategic agility, leadership, distributed leadership, learning and adaptation, then we have a shared vision. The ambidexterity is the core concept, that balance between the exploitation and the exploration. When we come to strategic agility, it is the ability of the organization, it is the ability of the organization to actually balance and adapt to changes. Then we talk about the leadership aspects, which looks at how leadership is able to enable agility and learning to show its influence on those elements. And then there is a continuous improvement and process that ensures long-term success placed on to highlight its dynamic. In all this, you have the shared vision and purpose, which is able to hold all these components together so that you can have an innovative organization. When I was talking about the challenges, I spoke about organizational structure. So we are going to take these steps, to know how these factors or these principles, organizational structure, leadership, resource allocation, and performance will help in implementing the framework that we have developed. So organizational structure should facilitate both exploitation and exploration. When we talk about, we have a structural separation, which is a type of organizational structure where we have separate units for exploration and then exploitation, which is linked by a senior leadership. Then we have contextual ambidexterity. You have both tasks within the same team. Let's say you have research units and then operational units in the same unit headed by one person. And then we have the network structures where you have departments working together, to ensure that they share ideas and then improve their work that they do. And then we have the hybrid models, which combine both approaches. This is also based on the need of the organization and then the size and then the industry that they find themselves in. In getting the right organizational structure, there are key considerations, which are to clarify the roles and responsibility of each unit or team, effective communication, creating platform for sharing ideas to promote cross-functional activities. And then it should align properly with the organizational strategy or objectives to ensure that there's synergy among teams. And then we also have, creating roles that will bridge the gap between exploitative and exploration units together. Then we come to developing leadership. Effective leadership is essential for balancing both exploration and then exploitation. Leaders need to think strategically. They should be able to cultivate the ability to adapt to changes and be flexible to changes. They should have diverse thinking, have the skills of mentoring and coaching their team members, promote experimentation and learning, and then be able to have emotional intelligence to the highest level. So leadership competence, we look at skills plus knowledge and ability so that you'll be an effective leader when it comes to working in ambidextrous organization. So in preparing a program or to, help with the leadership, you need to look at what I have already discussed about the strategic thinking, adaptability, diverse thinking, and then they should have training on innovative technologies, system thinking, and then lean principles. When you have the leadership, you have the structure, you need to allocate resources. So there are different, types of resource allocation strategy that you can use, like separate funding streams, stage gate funding, portfolio management, flexible resource allocation. I want to explain the stage gate funding. So it's like you have projects divided into several stages. At each stage, you have several activities designed to gather information and reduce project risk. While doing that, you at the end of each activity or each stage, you assess what you have done and see whether you need to allocate more resources, whether you need to start the whole project again, whether you need to kill that project. That helps in helping in the resource allocation. And then the separate funding streams, you talk about having 60% for exploration or 30% for exploitation. That depends on the organizational objective. So in resource allocation, you also need to look at this key consideration, having a distinct yet complementary resource pools, balancing project portfolios that includes both small and large scale activity. Because of that, I want to, go through fast. And then developing mechanisms to shift resources between exploitation and exploration initiative that will prioritize strategic, objectives. You have to look at also communicating the rationale behind the resource allocation to your team members so that they are held accountable for whatever resource that is entrusted to them. So you have to measure what you have done. You have given resources to your team members. You need to measure their work. What gets measured gets done. That's what I believe in. So we have metrics for exploitation and the metrics for exploration. The exploitation metrics, we are looking at improving quality improvements. We are looking at market share. We are looking at efficiency metrics. When it comes to exploration, we are looking at the number of ideas, new ideas that have been generated and prototyped, that has actually been implemented. We also have the balanced scorecard approach, where you look at the different parameters: financial, customer service, internal process, and growth. We also look at the qualitative aspects, having focus group discussions or surveys on the leadership support that you have at the organization. They're looking at long-term and short-term metrics to know which one will give you more efficiency and profitability. So in measuring performance, you need data, which is very important. So you have to collect data and analyze for both operational performance and innovative outcomes. And then like I said, using the balance card, you look at measuring both exploitation and exploration across different perspectives. That is the financial, internal process and learning and growth. And then you have to include, like I said, the qualitative evaluation. Monitoring is very important when it comes to, having an an effective organization. You need to measure your performance to know whether you're on track or you're not on track so that you can align properly. So in bringing all this together, we want to say that structure supports leadership, and the leadership supports resources. Leadership is a group that will ensure that they acquire the needed resources and then allocate them. And then the resources will also support performance. If you don't have enough resources or adequate resources, you will not be able to achieve your objectives. And then when your performance are on the right track, it also determine whether you maintain the structure that you have or you change your structure to increase productivity and efficiency. So what are the expected outcomes?
Miguel, we should be
Yes.
wrapping up. Your time is up, please.
Yes, please. So in conclusion, you have to conduct a comprehensive organization assessment, develop a clear vision and strategy, restructure for ambidexterity. That is the way to go in this current times. Thank you.
Thank you.